So this was the other project I was doing. This still continues on with the retaining wall project I had going on. You know, the retaining wall, it was a great project. It's something I've been thinking about for years and years and years, but I just didn't want to put the work into it. I didn't want to put the money into it. And now that my yard is looking fairly nice, I felt it was time to do it. Plus, I'm trying to keep busier with projects this year than I normally am. You know, a lot of times I spend a lot of time out doing stuff, wasting my money at the casino, you know, stuff like that. You know, I enjoy going, I enjoy having fun. But I'm trying to, you know, put that all behind me and spend my money more in my yard and stupid stuff I don't really even need around the house. Like, did I really need a drone? No, but I bought it. So, you know, here I'm using my sod cutter and I'm just cutting out all these squares. You're gonna see here, I'm just making big sod squares to cut out, to yank out. So I got my flathead shovel and I just, one by one, started tearing these pieces out. And I laid them on a tarp back over there on the yard. I have a big tarp laid out. And I basically laid them out in the exact order I pulled them, so that when I put them back, I can put them back in the exact order I took them out, so each piece matches up as best as possible. Now, this technique is, it's not perfect, because when you make these sod squares, I'm gonna pause this for just a second. When you make these sod squares, when you pull them out with a flathead shovel, you know, there are some areas that are thicker than others. You know, you got roots that grab to the dirt and all that kind of stuff. And in doing this project right here, I found out two things. One, all the BS of these lawn care channels talking about, you know, humic acid and sea kelp and all that stuff, making your roots, you know, yeah, it probably does all that. I know at least sea kelp will help with roots, especially with sod. But I pulled out, you know, chunks of grass that were like this, and I was tearing roots and ripping roots. So I really feel like, you know, in the 1 year that I've had this grass growing, because I did plant this last April of 2024, this particular Kentucky bluegrass. And when I had planted it, I had taken all the sod out. I had taken all the grass, the sod, and everything out. And so there was nothing there before. So this is all its own roots that it's grown in the year that I've been doing it. And, you know, like I said, I don't use any of these products that these other lawn care channels push on you. And, you know, this is one of the reasons why I show my yard all the time, because I'm not showing my yard to brag about it or say I got the best yard, because you know what? There's a lot of people out there that got really nice yards. And I feel a lot of them do a lot more than they need to do. But what I'm trying to portray and show is you can have a great yard without all those products. And what I really feel bad for is I feel bad for all the new homeowners and new guys that are starting to learn about lawn care, and they're watching these big YouTube channels of these guys telling you all this stuff to do that you don't need to do, all this money you need to spend that you don't need to spend. And as a new homeowner, I know when I bought my first house, I didn't have a lot of money to put into it. And if I was spending, you know, $60, $100 every couple of months on fertilizer just for my grass to make it look good, you know, that would have been a lot of money back then. Now, I could do that if I wanted to. I could buy all these products and spend the $200 every 4 months to have all these different products and put them in my yard. But what I realized is I'm just wasting my money. And it's not even that I need the money. I don't need the money. And it has nothing to do with that. It just has to do with, I just realized I'm putting a lot of products in my yard that my yard doesn't need. And, you know, I go against the grain on a lot of things. And, you know, I decided that I was just gonna stop doing it. I wanna see, you know, bent grass, putting green, mowing at 1/4 of an inch, 2 millimeters. That is all new to me. I just started doing that 2 years ago. And I had no clue what I was doing. And I was watching these YouTube channels, Yard Bro, Lawn Care Nut, DIY Lawn Coach, you know. Guys I like, Mr. Ferguson, I like that guy. You know, he gives a lot of bad information sometimes, but you know, I think for the most part, he's trying to put out a good, honest, you know, a product and stuff like that. The Dallas Lawn Guy, I like that guy. He's got Bermuda grass, but he has a lot of knowledge about grass and stuff like that. Still, I think he does a little bit more than he needs to do, but that's the thing. You can do what you want to do with your lawn. If you want to pump all these products into your lawn, pump them. I got 2 bottles of stuff I'd give you right now if you want to come grab them. Brand new bottles. I bought them, I don't use them, and I'm not going to use them. So I don't push any phosphorus. I don't push any of these things. And this is just where my whole problem with a lot of these lawn care channels came up, was they don't give you the best info. They're just trying to push a product on you. And I'll get off the old high horse there. It really drives me nuts because I watch them all the time still. And I could go on about a lot of stuff that I just even heard this last week about doing stuff. Like one guy was talking about his putting green and how much work it is. Oh, don't do a putting green. It's so much work. And you got to, fertilize. And I haven't fertilized my putting green in almost 2 months. It's been since April, like mid-April, the last time I had fertilized my putting green. And I only put nitrogen on it and a little bit of iron. And I've actually cut back on my iron because it's got sulfur and it lowers the pH. And I told you guys all about my pH testing I've been doing, and my soil kit, and how it's just a big lie. I thought my pH in my soil was good, but I went and did a Mehlich 3 test, and I found out that my pH in my soil was not good. It was low. So now I'm working on trying to get that back up. So anyways, getting back to, I dumped a bunch of dirt in there, the last of my 5 yards of topsoil. Right here, boom, boom, boom. I scraped every last little bit, used the last bit of tagro I had in my side yard, and I don't even like the tagro, but it's not going in as topsoil, so it's just being buried. So I put it in with it, and I just had enough to fill this area here and make it so it was going to work. But so I raked it, leveled it. There's my drag again, my favorite toy. Dragged it, rolled it, raked it, use my level rake. I just do that stuff over and over and over again until I feel I've got it. And the thing I like about the level, or the drag, is the fact you can put a level on it, and it's going to give you a good eye on where you're at with certain things. If you want it level, if you don't want it level, how much bubble you want, how much you don't want. So putting the pieces of sod back in was pretty easy. I mean, like I said, it's not a perfect science, so there's some pieces that are a little bit thicker, and you gotta use like a trowel or something like that to knock off some of the dirt to get it back to the right thickness, because when I put this dirt down, it was perfectly level and perfectly fine, but the sod pieces were definitely not all the same thickness and stuff, so I had to work on getting that sod to fit back in there really good. So I'm going to be coming back at the end of the video on this right here, and I'm going to be leveling this and putting soil down, my soil mix that I made, and I'm going to be putting it in here to get this looking good. But here you can see I've got it all patched up. It's amazing, how quickly the grass will start losing its color when you pull it out of the ground and shock the roots and all that. Plus I'm kneeling on it and I'm squishing it, so it's not the most level there. So it was a little bumpy, but I'm going to fix that. But it actually turned out really well. It's nice and level with the retaining wall now. I like how it looked. So this is me mowing after I dethatched for the first time on the Kentucky bluegrass. I'm using a setting of 5 on the Sunjoe, which 5 is the lowest it will go. And I use it on my putting green at 5, and I use it on my Kentucky bluegrass at 5. And again, I dethatched twice, both ways, up and down, back and forth. This is the second dethatching, I believe. And then I came back with the aeration blade, and I did the aeration blade at number 5 as well. And I really, really thinned that grass out quite a bit. And I'm not quite done with that part of the project, but yeah, so here I'm using the verticutting blade right here, the aeration blade. And I'm really getting down into it. And the thing I like about the aeration blade is that it really helps, knock down some of those high spots in the yard. and those are the spots that show up the most in my yard. Plus, since I did scalp this down to 3.5 millimeters, quarter of an inch is 6.3 millimeters. So it's a good almost 3 millimeters. I dropped it down from its normal cut. I mean, you can't go much more than 3 millimeters. I mean, my putting green is 2. So I mean, that's pretty freaking low. So I did get some scalping in a couple of spots. I do have some low spots where the mower wheels kind of drop down and scalp the line in the grass. But I know it's gonna all grow back. That's the good thing about grass, is it does grow back. So now I'm using my Ryobi Expand It. I got the edging blade on here, and I'm going to edge, one last time. Well, I'll probably edge again today, because I'm going to go ahead and kind of level it, but I'm just basically put a good topsoil down on top of it, a good mix of compost or topsoil. I even got some steer manure and some sand. But I just try to put a good clean edge on that, tighten up my water meter there, get that all nice and tight. And I'll come back with my blower and get this all blown off. Now I know a lot of you guys got really nice lawns out there, and even if you don't have a nice lawn, you're just looking to try to find a way to get a new nice good lawn. It's really nice when people are driving by, and I get lots of traffic in my neighborhood. And I'm just kind of getting more and more, people stop by, people I don't even think live on the block. I don't even know where they're probably going to visit some friends or stuff like that. They'll drive by, they'll stop, they'll roll their window down. They're like, oh man, your lawn is great. I love coming back over here and seeing your lawn. Your lawn looks so great. And that's not why I do it, and that's not what I'm looking for. I personally, I like a low cut lawn. I mean, I grew up on a golf course. I've always loved the golf course look in grass. And that was my whole goal when I started this project in 2023. I cut away from what I thought I wanted to do, which was tall fescue. And after that failed project, I went this way, and I said, you know what, I'm going to try this. I'm going to see what's up. I'll drop the $1,200 or $1,400 on a California trimmer and see what I can do with a wheel mower. And went down that path. And I had a guy drive by yesterday while I was out working on the mower, riding his bicycle by, and he's like, hey man, you got a great lawn, just yelling as he's riding by. And I was like, oh, that's so great. So it's nice, it makes you feel good when people do that kind of stuff. But I by far am not doing it to be stand out from the neighborhood or be recognized for a great lawn. You know what, I do it for me, and I think that's the reason you should do anything, is do it for yourself or your family, or the people you love. I really care less what other people think. I mean, look, I do it to the stupid YouTube channel. I mean, you can't get more dumb than that. So here I leveled this out. This is the area that I just cut the sod pieces out of, and this is my soil mix. It's a 4-way soil that I did myself. I have not sifted this. I should have, but I didn't. There's a lot of little pieces of wood compost in there and stuff like that. So before I put any sand down on the rest of my Kentucky bluegrass, I am definitely going to sift it and get it so there's those large pieces of stuff are out of there. But yeah, so I just leveled it. I just put the soil down, I raked it, got my level out, I leveled it, and then I'm going to roll it, and then I'm going to look for high spots. I'm just going to kind of drag my lawn level out and just look for the spots that need it. Now here's the important part right here. See me dusting off my roller? I'm dusting off my roller because I just got done rolling the bent grass. And I'm trying to make sure there's not one piece of bent grass seed on that roller before I start rolling my Kentucky bluegrass. I think I did it. I think I got it all, but there's going to be some bent grass in there, I'm sure. I'll be killing bent grass in a couple of months. So I got this all rolled out. I mean, I think it turned out really good. I'm just using the last bit of my soil that I have, and this was not a mix of. I've already used all of my pile of dirt I got or 5 yards of dirt that crap that had all the rocks in it. This is not that same dirt. This is definitely dirt that I mix myself. Topsoil, compost, sand, and lawn soil. So I was pretty happy with this. I was cooking ribs this day, so I kind of wanted to get out of the yard and go finish that and have some ribs. So I tried to get this done as quick as possible. This is like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and this is kind of completing this project right here. Spreading seed down. This is my Kentucky Bluegrass Fairway Blues. I get it from, oh gosh darn it, I can't remember the name of the company now. They're in Nebraska. It's a special blend. It's a fairway blend that they make for golf courses and stuff like that. They kind of laugh at me when I call and I order 10 pounds or 15 pounds or whatever. So you saw I spread it down, I raked it, and then I did roll it again. And then here you can just kind of see with this board, this is what it looked like when it was not level to the retaining wall. So, you know, like I said, it was a good 6 inches that I needed to raise that up. And we will see in the next couple